What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back for another video. Today we're going to be looking at the Stanley Cup Finals. It's finally here. This is the moment that everybody has been waiting for, to see the two teams that outlast everybody else in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and it's the St. Louis Blues versus the Boston Bruins. Now, this is a story of two different teams, really, although both of them got off to poor starts, but we all kind of figured that the Bruins were going to be a team that made the playoffs as a guarantee, pretty much. And St. Louis made a lot of moves in the offseason, and then it seemed like they just couldn't get anything going, and they were literally last place. Like, the St. Louis Blues were taking calls from teams regarding guys like Tarasenko, Parayko, even though they probably weren't going to trade him. Like, they were literally taking calls for all their big guns, like Pietrangelo. Like, they were looking like they were going to be making massive moves and selling off players. And then they came together and was like, we can win this thing. We can at least get to the playoffs. We can get there. And, you know, it takes a lot for that. Going from zero to hero like they have in these playoffs has been an ultimate ride for them. Like, this is an amazing story, and guys like Pat Maroon have shown that they can be a very good player for the playoffs. Like, he's a very, very good role player. Tyler Bozak, coming from the Toronto Maple Leafs with a lot of question marks, he's looked fantastic. Parayko's taken a step up. O'Reilly coming in from that massive trade. Like, every single one of these guys have a different story, and they all put it together. Binnington, like, this is one of the best stories of the year, if not in the last 5 years. He's been an incredible story this year. Then you go over to the Bruins, a bit of a poor start, but you see with Patrice Bergeron, David Pastrnak, Brad Marchand, Charlie McAvoy, Torrey Krug, Zdeno Chara, whoever it is. Like, this is a team that just knows how to win, and I've tweeted this multiple times. The Bruins are one of those teams that they just find ways to win. When you think that they're out of something, they're not. They can come back and they can win those hockey games. This is a team that doesn't know how to lose, and this is the matchup. Of course, we've got Tuukka Rask as well in there, who has been fan-freaking-tastic for the Bruins. Now, let's waste no more time. Let's look at some numbers here. First, actually, let's take a look. Well, I'm going to take a look here. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's very late. I'm very tired. I've been super busy. I don't even know how I'm recording this right now. I have very limited time, but I'm doing my best to give you guys some decent content here, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And if you're new, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. We're trying to get to 6,000 subscribers and beyond that. But looking at the bracket, of course, we took a look at it last time in depth, so I'm just going to go through it right now. St. Louis, a pretty amazing path to get to where they are right now, taking out a Winnipeg Jets team that obviously is a juggernaut. Like, we're talking about Patrick Laine, Wheeler, Scheifele, Bufflin, Ehlers, like Connor. Like, literally, the whole freaking team has been fantastic. They know how to put up points. After beating Winnipeg, they took on the Dallas Stars, another really good team, and this was one of the craziest series of the entire playoffs, and Dallas looked good in these playoffs, and St. Louis had to put them away. Then you get to San Jose. This is one of the better teams out there. This is a team that knows how to win hockey games. Jones maybe isn't the greatest performing goaltender in the playoffs, although he did have some good games. But the resilience of that Sharks team through injuries, they battled right to the end, but St. Louis was just too strong, and that got them to the Stanley Cup Final. Then, of course, we have the Boston Bruins, whose hardest-fought series was in round one against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And it's always a bloodbath against those two. There were suspensions, there was hits, there may be some dirty plays in that series, both ways. And Boston came away with that victory. It's like a war zone. Then against Columbus, they were pretty dominant, winning that series 4-2. And then they swept Carolina in dominating fashion. So the Bruins right now are the team that's got the most rest. They look like they're primed to be the favorite in my eyes. And then you've got a team like St. Louis who's a bit banged up, but they've got the adrenaline behind them. They're a team that has something to prove, and they want to beat those Bruins. So looking at some numbers, of course, Brad Marchand, 18 points in 17 games played. He's leading the way for the Bruins. Pastrnak is behind him, 15 points in 17 games. How about David Krejci, 14 points in 17 games. Bergeron has 13. Coyle has 12. Coyle has been an excellent pickup for the Bruins, coming from Minnesota. What a move for them. Torrey Krug with 12 points. Johansson hasn't been the best for them, but 9 points in 15 games, not bad. Grzelcyk, 7. DeBrusk, 7 points. Danton Heinen, 7. McAvoy, 7. Corrali, 5. Backus, 5. Like, you can see they've got a lot of depth there. They're at least getting some points. Then we've got, like I said, Tuukka Rask, who's been on an incredible run. Great playoffs for him. 2 shutouts, a 1.84 goals against average. That's just an amazing number. .942 save percentage. Absolutely out of this world. Great numbers for Tuukka Rask, and he is going to be tough to beat. But then you go on the other side, the St. Louis Blues. Jaden Schwartz, 16 points in 19 games played. He is killing it. 12 goals in these playoffs. He's been one of the big stories. Of course, he's had a hat trick as well in these playoffs. Ryan O'Reilly, 14 points in 19 games. They probably want him to add a couple more goals, but he looks good. Tarasenko, 13 points. Perron has 13 in there, and he's another guy that stepped it up. Pietrangelo, 13 points in 19 games. That's their big guy from the blue line. Parayko, 11 points. Bozak, like I said, chipping in, 10 points. Sundqvist, 8. Maroon, 7, but he's adding some heart too. Braden Shen, 7. Dunn, 7. Edmondson, 7. Thomas, 6. Like, they're getting points from a lot of different guys. And, of course, Jordan Binnington. How can you forget that name? 2.37 goals against average with a .914 save percentage, and he's got a shutout. I expect this to be a great goalie battle, but I don't know. I just don't know who I want to pick in this series. On one hand, I think the Bruins are the favorite, in my eyes at least. I think that they have to be the favorites, but the way St. Louis has played, the heart that they have, the drive that they have, it's hard to bet against them. I love Tyler Bozak on the St. Louis Blues. I think he is just a guy that's been through so much, and with the media and Toronto, and he's never been really hated, but at the same time he's been through a lot, and some people, including myself at some points think that he might be a little bit overpaid, especially when he was with Toronto at some points. But when you look at the numbers and the points that he put up, he actually was doing all right there. And I've always been a fan of Bozak. I never disliked him for his contract because, to be honest with you, the Leafs were so bad, I didn't care what the guys were getting paid. Now that they're a better team, it matters a little more. But Bozak is just one of those guys that I love to watch. And then here's the thing, and this is a message I have to send to Leaf fans, because I am a Leaf fan as well. So, and usually I have Leaf stuff in the background, but I've actually switched up my room a little bit, and this isn't my permanent spot. I'm really working on something cool for you guys, but this is a message to fellow Leaf fans, because when it comes to the Bruins, I think everybody's just like, oh, the Bruins suck, this, that, and the other. First of all, they're in the Stanley Cup final and the Leafs aren't, okay? Let's just get that first of all. And I don't want everything to be about the Leafs, because it's not, but I have to give my perspective as a Leaf fan. The Bruins are fantastic. Patrice Bergeron, I don't care what anybody says, I love that guy. I think he's absolutely unreal, out of this world, one of the best two-way players I'll ever see in my entire life. David Pastrnak, do not leave that man open. He will burn you. He will absolutely snipe all day. Give him any space, and he is going to burn a goaltender. Okay? Brad Marchand. Guys, he's a pest. And guess what? He does it well. He scores, he gets points, he knows how to win. It's that mentality. He's got a winner's mentality. McAvoy, a bit chippy. The guy knows how to play. Chara, not his biggest fan. I'm still not over what he did to Pacioretty a long time ago. I'm just the type of guy that sees a play like that and I'm like, oh, whatever. But you kind of have to let that pass you. Chara, he hasn't been as effective, but he's still Zdeno Chara. He's still the leader of that team. He's very well spoken. He seems like a great guy in the dressing room. And then, of course, I just think Tuukka Rask is playing out of his mind right now. And the first number that I can think of is I think Boston is winning the Stanley Cup in 6 games. I think St. Louis is going to give a bit of a battle here, But at the end of the day, I think Boston's just too strong. I really believe that they have another gear. I think St. Louis does too, but I just think that Boston's is too strong. When they get in a position like this, it's tough to beat them. So I'm going to have to go with the Boston Bruins. Leave your thoughts down below. Who is going to win the Stanley Cup? It's exciting. I've got a lot of cool videos prepared for you guys coming up. Well, not edited or filmed or whatever, but prepared. I've got people that are coming onto the channel. I've got the ideas ready. You guys are going to be really excited, I hope. And there's a much better background than Kendrick Lamar vinyls behind me. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. I'd love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 6,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to click like, share, whatever you want to do. Click the notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.